My name is Ozie Davis III. Um, I own Ozie Davis and Associates, a consulting firm that works primarily in community engagement and community advocacy.
Awesome.
I'm a 58-year resident of Avondale on the same street. I
Okay.
live on Eden, the Garden of. Born on Eden, died on Eden. Because I got tired of everybody talking about A1 from day one. So I say born on Eden, die on Eden, the Garden of. Interestingly enough, if you think about it, um, my street is probably why I am who I am. The work that I do with communities and anchor institutions, Eden used to go from Erman all the way to William Howard Taft. Right? If you're on Coreyville, you could be on Eden. That's my street. What separates Eden from the Avondale Eden from Coreyville Eden, but institutions? And they talk a lot about institutional displacement and river basin communities across the country. Ours being like the West End, Queensgate. What we have in Avondale is institutional displacement right in the center of the city. It's the worst kind, and it's going on to us again. And we all champion, the development at the corner of Martin Luther King Road. Um, there's not enough talk about the mass quantity displacement that had to happen to make that a reality. And that's Eden for me keeps that going. And growing up, across the street from the zoo, that's always another institutional partner that I've grown to understand. When I was a child, Peel Hill, all the hospitals were on burning. Jewish, Good Sam, everybody was on burning. They dispersed over time. So my street has all these personal connections to what Avondale is. But I appreciate the the concept behind people saying that my care and concern for the geography is high level. There is nobody in the world that loves Avondale more than me. It could be a million people that love Avondale as much as me. I'm fine with that. But there's nobody who loves Avondale more than me. Its geography is part of my DNA. It's in my makeup. My worldview is between 3559 Eden and 3550 Eden. In my book, I call it -9. I got a -9 worldview. I've only lived in those two addresses my entire life. Everything in my makeup, and that's why I call Avondale my Jerusalem, because I care about it. And if something's going on in the neighborhood, I just I wanna have a say about it. But more importantly, having gone to Rockdale and having lived on that street and having gone to Southern Baptist and having started, getting my hair cut at Prime Cut, still getting my hair cut by this very same barber all these years later. She just happens to be in Hartwell. But just like she is in Hartwell, her heart is in Prime Cut in Avondale. Like everything I've done uh, is in Avondale. So most of the times when I open my mouth about a particular subject in our neighborhood, it's not one of my own. It's not an idea or an opinion of my own all alone. If I come to the community council meeting, I'm talking about something, I've probably talked to a dozen residents already. And I think folk kind of understand that from, the governor on down. I don't know Joe Biden that well, but certainly all of the legislators who are responsible for legislating our existence know the geography that I I call home.
Awesome.
Ohio is the heart of it all.
Mm.
Then Avondale is the heart of it all. And if you look at it on the map, it, it kind of it's right there. And its shape and its the way it lays makes it the most important neighborhood in the city. The two state routes that run through Cincinnati the longest through Avondale, both Route 4, Vine Street, and Route 32, Reading Road. They run the longest of any neighborhood in Avondale. Um, if you think about something like Westwood Northern, even if you take it east to west, you're not on the state route. So the connectivity from city to state just by the roadways makes it a very important neighborhood. The hospitals, the universities. People ask me a lot about the Crosstown shootout. I said, well, I live 1.5 miles between UC and Xavier, uh, 1.5 miles from Cincinnati State. It is 2 miles from 71, and a mile from 75. All of this access created on top of the hill gives you a geographical it gives you a geographical excellence. Avondale is so needed. It's like the crossroads of community. If most people have spent time in Avondale, other than the West End, there's no place that more black people have spent time than Avondale. And of course, many Avondale folk came from the West End.
Um,
I was a baby, so I'm a '65 kid. Rise from '68, '69. Um, I don't remember much, but fear. Uh, and then, I remember a sense of accomplishment, but it was always confusing to me because those two things, as a child, never really added up. But I do recall feeling that black people had done something. You know, on the other side, the rise made some sense to get to something. I don't know that we got it anymore, but at least at that time. And my brother, he was a teenager at the time, so he was very much participating. And my dad was a postal employee, a trunk, and he very much participated. So that I think, especially being from Avondale, um, and the riots, and the Lincoln statue, it was a much different neighborhood. And that was a neighborhood that was full of business, uh, full of commercial. The commercial presence in '69 in our neighborhood versus now is totally, totally different. There were shops up and down Red Road, up and down Burnett. And we haven't had a new business on Burnett since 2006. And Stags and his shop next door. That's all we got. Well, I'm sorry, a corner store, if you want to call that. Call that something. I would really want to see a more united body, a more united citizenry. You know, what has always made Avondale special is the people, the fight, the resilience. But you know, it's not. It's a lesser quality when we're not all together, and it's interesting because at my church that I've been at since I was 12, we're going through a renaissance ourselves, and we're asking this very question. When I was growing up, the churches were way out front, like, and I'm not certain that we have that way out front entity or entities that are rallying the people. And I think if we could get the people rallied in a way that we can figure out the answer to your question. Because for me, what would be optimal is if I knew what the people wanted Avondale to be. And I don't think we have a grasp